All right, Ford Madison fans, here we go. Thank you for joining us. Our February edition of our town hall. Our commitment to you has been that we will do our best to keep you informed and keep you up to date as we navigate the current local health orders and try and get the Flamingos back on the field here at Breese Stevens Field in the great city of Madison, Wisconsin. I'm going to hop in and start by talking about what the most recent health orders mean to our club and our business. And then from there, we'll get into your questions. If you have additional questions, please feel free to put them in the chat or reach out. Jason Klein is here to help, and we'll get your questions to us. I think last time we may have missed a question or two. This is a totally unfiltered, unedited town hall. So if you have questions, don't hesitate to put them out there. We'll do our best to answer everything we can and tell you everything we can. So first of all, excuse me. The new order, the new health order, what does that mean? And order number 13 came from Public Health Madison, Dane County. It was released on Monday, went into effect today. There's a couple things that directly impact Fort Madison. First of all, that order allows for the playing of sports, allows for the playing of athletic events. Prior to that order, we were the one team, we believe, in pro soccer in the U.S. that was not allowed to play their sport in their home city. Now we are allowed to play in the city of Madison. So that's a great first step to us getting back on the field at Breese. With that, however, with that new order, face coverings are required. So while we can play, face coverings are required. We are working through with the USL Players Association in the USL in our medical team to kind of discuss what that means. If we get to the start of the season on May 8th, when face coverings are required, we are going to have to kind of navigate that with the league and all the appropriate parties to see what we do and if it is feasible to play a league match with masks. There's no precedent for that, not something that's happened before in the USL or I believe in American soccer. But nonetheless, it is a step forward that we are allowed to be playing soccer here in the city of Madison. Secondly, there is some movement as it relates to capacity. The capacity now is 100 people for an event where you're eating or drinking for a mass gathering. So that would be what happens at Breese Stevens Field. And so right now we're up to 100 fans. We're hopeful for greater loosening, an increase in possible capacity between now and when we start the USL League One season on May 8th. And we're really hoping that can increase. But we do think it's a good first step. Once again, first step that we can play, a good first step that now we can have fans. So two significant steps to getting us back to Breese Stevens Field. So if you have questions about more details on the order, please put them in the chat. I'm going to hop into the rest of the questions. CJ Dwyer asks, hello, are you ever hoping to expand into club soccer? Also, would you ever allow aspiring coaches to come sit in on a practice? I'm an assistant coach at the UW Oshkosh and would love to learn. We think, CJ, thanks for the question. We think in a lot of ways we're a developmental club. We're developing players, we're developing front office staff, we're developing coaches. And just a second if you can hold. Sorry, CJ. In a lot of ways we're a developmental club. And so if we can help grow the game, both at the youth level from a player or coach standpoint or beyond, we would love the opportunity to do that. So, if you are a local coach or a club coach looking to learn a little bit, we will be having some coaching clinics over the course of the summer. But also, if our league protocols allow, we'd be more than happy to get you into a practice, at the appropriate time to observe some of the stuff that we do. So feel free to reach out on that. At this time, we're not interested, or I shouldn't say not interested, but we're club soccer is not in our plans as a growth model. We do want to do more from a spectator standpoint in the state of Wisconsin. We do have a League Two franchise in Green Bay and would like to continue to expand our footprint throughout the state. But right now our focus truly is on getting Ford Madison back on the field and then also getting the Green Bay Voyagers back and going in Green Bay. Ross Larson asks, how are sales of the Ford Madison masks going? Well, Ross, thanks for the question. I think they're going great. As far as I know, I don't think we have any left. We should have ordered more. Especially if we're going to be required to wear masks on the field. I think we are going to have to reorder some, but I think they have gone well. We have sold out, and we may be needing to restock. Melissa asks, what's everyone doing to keep warm? Well, Melissa, we're working hard here in the office. It seems weird that it's February, but before you know it, players are going to be reporting, and we'll be playing USL soccer. So we're working hard here to kind of plan and be prepared for any scenario where we can host games at Breese Stevens Field, and doing whatever we can to get back here in Madison. Julia from Cincinnati, Ohio, reaches out and asks, you have a lot of non-local fans that have come across and fallen in love with Domingos. We often get jealous of the special game package offerings, such as a ticket and train whistle. I believe that was our Hart Park package, I think. You know, that great train that comes through Hart Park every once in a while. So would you ever consider, for a game or two during the season, offering an away package option for those that can be shipped out of town to out-of-town supporters? Maybe even part of the package could be a ticket that will be given away to a lucky local fan. Julia, it's a great idea. Yes, we're going to continue to expand our packages. Yes, it is unclear exactly what we'll be looking at for capacity or how we'll be offering packages this year. We just don't have enough clarity on that quite yet. But yes, we will talk to our merch team and our marketing team, see what we can do to offer an away package where either that ticket goes to a local charity or somebody that normally wouldn't be able to attend a game, or it's just the fun item and we can ship it your way. Ethan, hi Connor, thanks for listening to the fans. I really want to be a Ford Madison fan, and everything the club has done off the field, branding, fan engagement, merch, a team pet named after the best player of all time, draws me to the team. However, the players do not. It just seems like there isn't much quality in the past two groups of players. If I'm interested in watching a team lose all year, I'll buy Brewers tickets. Ooh, tough crowd, Ethan. It feels like all the energy this team is spent on marketing, and that the footy is the last thing on my mind, or the execs. I guess I'm the exec. How can that be changed? Well, Ethan, I appreciate the question. I'm a Cubs fan, so I don't mind the Brewers jab, but in all fairness, the Brewers have been winning quite a bit lately, and it's good to see what they're doing in Milwaukee. But I appreciate you asking about the football, and I think there's nothing that bothers me more than people talking about how we're a marketing and branding club and not a football club. And we have had, some success in our first season. We did make the playoffs. That was a good start. But what happened this past year, while there's a lot of challenges for our team, not being able to practice at home, not being able to play matches at home, traveling regularly for our home games. While there's a lot of challenges, it wasn't acceptable to finish where we did in the table, the 7th out of 11 teams. And so we made a change, and I think, Ethan, our commitment to you and our commitment to our fans, first of all, any competitive league, any competitive sport, it's not easy to win. It's not easy to win every year. But I think our commitment to winning and our commitment to success on the field is being shown by, one, bringing in a new manager in Carl Craig, which we think is a great addition, two, an additional and continued investment in our player roster and in our player salaries. We are, as you know, in the middle of a challenging financial time, in the middle of a pandemic, but we have not cut our player budget at all. If anything, we are adding to that. We're adding to our support budget for the team. We're adding to our housing budget, and we're investing further into our playing side of the business. We want to win on the field. We're serious about winning. We're serious about being competitive. I think some of those signings, some of those players that we've gone out and signed in this offseason shows that and proves that. And I think we've got more exciting signings coming that candidly I think are great signings for a USL League One team. So I think it's a fair question. I appreciate you asking it. But all we can do is do our best to go out and prove it to you on the field. But I do want you to know that my partners and I and every exec with this club is committed to winning on the field. And it'd be very easy during the middle of a pandemic for us just to pull back the player budget, pull back the coach budget, and really cut what we're doing. But instead, we're continuing to invest in those departments. We want to win. We're committed to winning. We're not happy that Greenville ran away with it this year, and we're going to come after them this year. So good question. Hopefully you will see our commitment to winning, our commitment to being a competitive team both on and off the field. We want to be the best in the league both on and off the field. And we've done a good job with some off the field stuff, but it doesn't really matter until we prove it on the field. And so we're committed to that, and hopefully you'll see that commitment bear out here, in 2021. Matt Golick, first question, will you give Jason a raise? I believe he is referencing Jason Klein, our guru and master of all things social media and digital. Well, Matt, it's a fair question. As I just mentioned, we've put all of our money into the players and coaches, and so we don't have much money for staff raises. We would all love a raise around here right now, but fair question. It will be something we consider. And it looks, I'm just seeing some notes here that Jason's full family appears to be tweeting that he deserves a raise. I don't disagree with that, but we do have to maybe get some fans in the stands before we can start, getting some raises out there. Secondly, if Public Health Madison Dane County allows soccer to be played at Breese, either without fans or with a significant limit on the number, will the club do that? Matt, that's a great question. I think that's the $1 million question. At what level is it viable for us to return to Breese Stevens Field as it relates to fans? Right now, the current order allows us to play 100 with 100 fans in the stands. While that's a great first step, we're confident and we're really hopeful for a significant increase beyond that number as we get to May 8th and the start of the USL season. Unfortunately, we haven't made any final decision. We'll make a final decision in early April or end of March, early April on where we are going to play. But right now, it's probably not quite viable to be able to return home with just 100 fans. Our hope is that we can continue to work with Public Health, Madison, Dane County, and work with them and work with the county and the city to figure out something that's safe, that does make it viable for us to get back to Breese. And I should say, we want to recognize Public Health, Madison, Dane County. We know their job has not been easy over the last year, 11 months. And, we know that they've worked tireless hours and doing their best to keep everybody safe and balance the challenges they have with folks like us trying to get, back to doing what they do as a business. So we want to thank them for the adjustments this week that are a step in the right direction for us, and we hope that we can continue to work with them and continue to open up a little bit as we get closer to May 8th and the start of the season. All right, next question from Rob Hendrickson. With the pandemic hurting attendance and thus revenue last year and possibly again this year, are you and the rest of your partners, your ownership group, looking to bring in more partners, investors to help offset the losses? Rob, thanks for the question. I mean, financially it was challenging in 20. Candidly, we think 21 is going to be tougher financially than 20 was for a handful of reasons. And as far as your question on a capital raise or bringing in more investors, that's not something we're prepared to do right now. That could be something we look at doing over time, but that's not something that's on the table for us. So I've got great partners in Vern Stem and Steve Schmidt, and our lead partner Jim Kazmarek, and right now we're going to kind of stick to that. But it could be something in time that is necessary as we try and continue to invest and grow this club. A somewhat similar question from Travis M. Is the club stable enough to potentially endure another season where we can't play at Breese Stevens Field? What can I do as a supporter to help make sure there's football in Madison for 2022 and beyond? Well, Travis, thanks for your support. And the reason we're still here is because of support from everybody that's tuned in and all of our amazing season ticket holders that have stuck with us even though we couldn't even play our home games in Madison last year. As far as your question on what you can do to support our club, just be patient and stick with us. That's all we ask. If you can continue to support us through the purchase of season tickets or whatever type of tickets you're allowed to purchase this year, that's all we can ask. We appreciate the support. It's been amazing. The fans are the reason that we're still here, and we can't thank you enough for that. Can we carry on through another compromised revenue season? I mean, we think we can. I mean, it's not ideal. Yes, we'd love to be back at Breese. Yes, we'd love to have fans. But when we started Forward Madison in in 2018, when we started this business, this was a 20-year commitment. It's not a 1-year commitment, not a 2-year commitment. And so we're in this for the long haul. And our hope, I mean, we are Madison's football club, we are Madison's soccer team. We're going to stick this out as long as we possibly can. And while it has been challenging, we're committed to the long term, and we're committed to continuing to invest in this business and invest in the community to be around for a long time. All right, Matt's question: what percentage of season ticket holders of last year just said keep the money for the 2021 season? That's what I did, and I would do it again if we had to do it again. So Matt, I think the question is what percentage of the 2020 season ticket holders just pushed their money to 2021? I don't have an exact number, but I think it's 96, 97%. Once again, you guys are amazing, and you're the reason we're still here, is all these great season ticket holders stuck with us and said, let's just carry our money to next year. And we just can't thank you enough for that. And so we know that we've got a great season ticket base when we open up, when we can open back up. And our hope is, when we can open back up, or I should say not our hope, when we can open back up, all of you that bought 2020 season tickets, you'll be the first ones into the stadium in 2021. If we are playing at a limited capacity or whatever it might be, we're going to go priority by those that bought season tickets, and we're going to thank you for sticking with us like you have. Jason's asked me to provide a couple updates here, just a couple brief things. Everybody's favorite baby calf, Rose Cowbell. Went out to visit Rose last week. She's doing great. You may have seen the video. She is pretty quick. Bessie, not as quick as she used to be, but doing well as well. I got the opportunity with my daughter, my 7-year-old daughter, to milk our cow. Bessie, I believe I'm probably the only owner in the USL, maybe the world, to be milking their team mascot, but that was quite an experience for a city boy like me. And want to thank our friends at Haven's Petting Farm for taking care of Bessie and Rosie. They're both doing great and getting ready for the season. Update on rosters and players. We'll have another new signing announced this week, I think, followed by another one next week. Very confident in the job that Carl Craig and his staff, Neil Lavity and others are doing, putting together a roster. I like the idea that we're getting players with experience at different levels, and we're bringing in players from all age groups, and I just like the mix that he's putting together, and I like the homework he's doing to make sure that they're good players both on and off the field, and they're good fits here with our club in Madison. So I'm encouraged by that, and feeling good about the direction of the roster. Merchandise and kits. I don't have any major updates on merchandise, but I can tell you that our kit crew is hard at work as we try and figure out what our kits look like in 2021. The response from our fans in our first 2 years has been amazing with the way that you've purchased and grabbed onto those kits. We want to thank you for that, and want you to know that we feel a great deal of pressure to try and improve on what we've done in the past. So there is some stress, there is some sleepless nights, but we are trying to improve on what we've done previously, and we hope that you'll like what we put together. We're not there yet, but we're in the process of putting that together. All right, we got a bunch more questions here, so we're going to get rolling here. Keep rolling here. 81 games. How can I get a poster? So I believe what is being referenced, maybe these posters offer behind me. We may have some left. You can drop us an email. I think most of them are gone, but we will be doing a match day poster commissioned by a local artist here in Madison, or commissioned by the club, done by a local artist. We will be doing that again every match day in 2021. Scott's question: when are the new kits dropping? Is that what the kids say, dropping? We plan to release our new kits. I don't know, when are we doing that? Well, the season starts May 8th, so you'll probably see you'll probably start seeing the kits late March, early April, and then our alternate kit will be right before May 8th is our plan. Janelle asks, when do the players report? We're working through that right now, but with a May 8th start, I would say around May 20th, give or take a few days, is what we're looking at for player report. We want a good 6 weeks of our players training We are working through with the USL right now and kind of the quarantine policies as players report and reintegrate back into the club and as a group. So we are working through that right now, but roughly around March 20th, and we're still pinning that down. But we do expect our first game to be May 8th. Bill asks, if fans were required to wear 2 or even 3 masks, would more than 100 fans be allowed to attend games or be able to attend games? Bill, that's a good question. I think, as we look at the health orders this week, I think one of the bright sides is it's only 1 mask. We don't have to wear 2 or 3. So your point is valid. But I do not think wearing more masks at this point is going to equate to more fans. But I appreciate the question. If we get information that differs from that, we will respond back. Wasatch Mingos. I know it was just announced, but is there more info on whether we'll be competing in the U.S. Open Cup? Well, Wasatch Mingos, first of all, you guys are awesome, and love that we've got a fan group out west, in the fan group that I believe spent 12 or 16 hours, somewhere between there, 12 to 16 hours to get from Utah to Tucson. That's pretty amazing, and I believe may have shared a meal with our guys after the game. So awesome stuff. That was pre-pandemic, of course. As far as the U.S. Open Cup, all we know is that it's a reduced field. There's no indication from I shouldn't say no indication, but I do not think it's been discussed yet at our league level as far as what the qualifications will be, or how teams get in, or if we're one of the couple teams from USL League One that'll be in. So don't have much to report on that. With 2 of 8 teams getting in, the odds are obviously against us. Neil Willinson says, great job with everything you're doing. Well, Neil, we appreciate the support, and we know you do a lot of great stuff in the community, and want to thank you for all that stuff that you do. Liam Smith, our good old buddy Liam, can we use pods at Breese in the stands similar to what's going to be used for live music? So you may have seen that earlier this week we announced a concert for May 6th at Breese Stevens Field. That show is seated with 276 4-person pods that are 8x8 socially distanced on the field, and then about another 103 or so pods socially distanced of 4 people in the grandstand. I should be clear that show has not yet been approved by the health department, but we're hopeful in 3 months, come May 6th, that the current regulations at that time will allow for that show to happen. Liam, to your question, we are working with the health department. We have submitted several, or I shouldn't say several, we have submitted a socially distanced seat map to the health department, and we're working to see if there is a path and an avenue that by the time the USL League season starts in May, if we can do a socially distanced, safe seating pod structure. So I think it's a great idea, and our hope is that we can do that. Janelle asks, is the 100 numbered, is that fans in the stands, or does that include refs, players, etc.? So that 100 number does not include employees. So staff, referees, players, we believe in our discussions with the health department, all count as employees. That 100 will be 100 fans as of right now. That's 100 fans if there's food or beverage. If there's no food or beverage, I believe that number is 150. Rebecca, more of a statement than a question, but Rebecca says, please stay in Madison. This season ticket holder can't make games outside Dane County. Well, Rebecca, first of all, appreciate you purchasing season tickets. Second of all, we want to stay in Madison. This is our home. We want to be here. We're super hopeful, and we're determined to keep working with the local officials to get back to Breese. That's our focus. We're fortunate that we've got some great backup options, some great partners outside of the county. But we're really hopeful. We're really determined. We're really focused on making sure that we do, play games here at Breese Stevens Field. With 100 fans, it's not quite viable from a business standpoint to be doing that right now. But our hope is by May, we'll be able to grow that. Matt asks, what alternate stadiums are you looking at? Are there any closer than last year? So, we played at Hart Park last year, about an hour and 20 minutes here from Breese Stevens Field. Want to thank the city of Wauwatosa again for welcoming us there and being good to work with as far as accommodating our schedule. And while that is still potentially an option for this year, we have listened to our fans like we try and do, and we've heard loud and clear from our fans that if we do not play in Madison, they would like to be closer than Wauwatosa. And so, once again, our preference is to get back to Breese and do everything we can to get back to Breese. If that's not possible, or if the current orders don't allow for that, when the USL season opens, we have investigated several other options that are closer than Wauwatosa, and we are considering those. No decision's been made. We won't make a decision until late March, early April, but we are considering that. Roy asks, who is your marketing director and how can I get in contact with them? Well, Roy, you can contact me with any marketing concepts or ideas. I'm at info@forwardmadisonfc.com. And that same thing goes with any questions for this town hall. Please contact me, whether it be related to technical, marketing, anything, and then I'll get it to the appropriate person on our staff. Yeah, we've got a couple more questions, and let's keep them rolling.
Okay. Cody asks, what was it like for you as a staff to be able to watch Josiah Trimmingham represent Trinidad and Tobago as team captain against the USA? And additionally, there were other former USL League One players who made appearances in that game for the U.S. national team. Have you been able to use success with former players in the league in your recruiting efforts for the 2021 season?
Cody, it's a good question. I think I'll summarize that question about Josiah Trimmingham playing for the Trinidad and Tobago national team against the U.S. Men's team about 10 days ago. And then also the question talks about other League One players playing in that game, and are we using that as a recruiting tool for us? First of all, it was awesome to see Josiah captain his nation's team. Josiah worked out with us, I believe, in 2019. It wasn't actually signed, but was a trialist with us. We signed him for 2020. Was an everyday, regular starter for us, and it's just awesome to see his development as a young man. Became a father in the last season, and it's just great to see him develop as a young man, and pretty amazing to see him captain his country against the United States. So that was great. I know it was a rough match for TNT, and he got banged up, but we are hearing he's doing well. We do expect him to be appearing more for his national team here over the next coming weeks as they get into qualifying for the World Cup. Cody, as far as your question is how we leverage or use the success of these USL League One players from a recruiting standpoint, the league is 2 years old essentially, and one of those 2 years was a pandemic year that was shortened and challenged. So I think once we get a few years here under our belt, I think people will realize the springboard that the USL League One can be, whether it be to the MLS, whether it be the Championship MLS, or even potentially Europe. And I think the thing we were maybe a little surprised about in year one is how good the talent was in this league, and I think that talent's only going to get better. I think you can make a pretty quick climb up the ladder from USL League One to the MLS and beyond, and that's proven. I mean, we saw a player come from North Texas SC and just have a major transfer to Europe. So I mean, there is this is a quick path to soccer stardom and success for the right players.
The Wasatch Mingoes want you to know that in 2022, when the pandemic is over, we should hold our preseason training in Utah.
Well, Wasatch Mingoes, we appreciate that. If you can, if we can just shack up at your house for the 6 weeks of preseason, we don't impose much. There's only about 32 of us that travel. But if you've got room for us, we'll be there. Would love that. And you guys are awesome. Appreciate the continued support.
Maranga says, hey Connor, just a compliment here. Your front office folks are great. I've been to a few matches at Breese Stevens Field, and my kids and I always had a great time.
So Maranga is complimenting our front office folks. Once again, another commenter angling for a raise. I guess we're gonna have to review all of our salary and compensation plans come tomorrow. But Marenga's comments were about how good our front office staff is. And Marenga, I couldn't agree with you more. A focus of ours through this pandemic has been keeping our great staff and keeping all the talent that we can. And we've got an amazing staff that's been through a challenging work environment over the last year, and they've stuck with us. They've been great. We're appreciative of what they do. And our hope is that once we start getting back to normal a little bit, we can add to that as well and continue to grow our staff.
All right, just a couple more. Harry asks, how do you see the team growing in performance and community standing in the next 5 years?
Great. So Harry's question was, how do we see the team growing in performance and community standing? Well, from a performance standpoint, Harry, I want to focus on the field, and we got to bring a championship to the city of Madison in the next 5 years. Hopefully it's shorter than that, and I don't mean to put the pressure on Carl Craig, but that is our goal. That is our focus. We do need to win, and we need to win before too long here. So, that's, I think, our main focus is winning and getting things on track on the field. I think you're going to see some of the signings we're making, some of the investments we're making are viewed at more the longer term and not just the short term. And so that is a focus. As far as our standing in the community, we are the community's club, and the community has made us what we are. And our first year or two, we were very active in the community, from events and gatherings and charitable events and all kinds of different things. Obviously, the pandemic has challenged that, and we can't be quite as active as we once were because there's just not as much going on, and things are socially distanced, and our players can't be quite as accessible as they once were due to league protocols. We are going to be investing in a community engagement position here in the coming weeks to kind of get us back on track, get us back out in the community, and make sure that we are fully engaging. And our goal for 5 years, it may be a bit hard to measure, but we just want to be a staple in this community, a reliable, dependable, and good corporate citizen in this community that people have a good relationship with and can lean on or come to help create positive change in the community. And so we are going to start investing in that in the coming month. But we just want people to know 5 years from now that we're a key part of this community, and we're a good community partner, and we're pretty much everywhere in the community. That would be the focus and the goal.
We've got 2 questions left. The first is again from Janelle, who asks, when will we learn who the new player signings are?
Janelle asks about news on new player signings. Well, Jason, you do those, so you can answer that question. But I think we have one coming later this week. Tomorrow, a new player, and then you'll see one next week, and then potentially a week after that. So, there are some. I'm getting a little ahead of myself here. There are some paperwork processes we have to go through on all this, but once again, I want to reiterate, I am encouraged and feel good about the job that Carl Craig, our technical director and head coach, and Neil Lavity, his top assistant, are doing.
Okay, the last one I've got is from Hayden, who asks, how can we help convince the city of Madison to let y'all play? It's ridiculous that we're the only club that has to deal with these kinds of restrictions.
Yeah, I'll paraphrase what Jason said, but Hayden's asking, how can we work with the city of Madison, or how can we convince the city of Madison to let Forward Madison play? Hayden, I appreciate the sentiment. We've heard that from a handful of folks. Is there a petition or a letter writing campaign or some kind of PR campaign? And we do appreciate that. And our stance on that has been and will continue to be, we're respectful of the health department in the city and the county. We know the decisions they're making are not easy. And for now, we're going to continue to take the lead as an organization of working directly with those officials and trying to work with them to bring soccer back to Breese Stevens Field safely. And I appreciate everyone's offer to support, their willingness to reach out. But this isn't a political topic. It's a health topic. It's a health policy topic. And so, it's not something that I think at this point letter writing or a petition is appropriate. I just think we're not there. I think let us continue to work diligently and collaboratively with the health department, and we're hopeful by May 8th we'll be back at Breese Stevens Field in a way that works for our fans and our players, and and also in a way that kind of brings the community back together. I think events in soccer in particular is something that has the ability to unite the community, and hopefully we get that chance to kind of bring people back together and bring some sense of normalcy back to Madison and Dane County. So I think that's all the questions. I think the only one that I might have missed, there's a question on preseason and what does preseason look like. We're working through that right now. Like I said, around March 20th or so report date. A year ago, the team did a trip down to Birmingham, Alabama. I think due to the current COVID protocols, we won't travel quite as far and wide as we had in previous years, but we will, safely plan some trips to make sure that we get a couple of good preseason exhibition matches in, and make sure that the guys are ready to go come the scheduled start of the season on May 8th. All right, well, folks, appreciate you taking 40 minutes to talk tonight. We're going to continue to do these kind of town hall updates, whether it's not every few weeks. At a minimum, we'll do them once a month until the season starts and potentially into the season. All your questions are welcome. We'll do our best to answer all of them. And want to thank you for taking the time. Want to thank you for your continued support. Once again, we're working hard to prepare for what is hopefully a season at Breese Stevens Field, and let's hope that all the COVID-19 numbers and trends continue to improve and allow for us to work with the health department to get back to Breese. So thanks for your continued support. Feel free to reach out with any further questions, and until next time, look forward to talking to you soon. Thanks so much.